Hello everyone, welcome back to Atinjagins. Now today I'm going to be doing a customization video. I've been wanting to do this for a long time. It's taken me forever to get everything that I need to actually do this video. Ordering stuff online, doing loads of research on how to go about the process, and today I'm going to be doing some hydro dipping. So I've got an old PlayStation 4 controller here. It's a bit grimy, it's a bit beat up, it could do with a bit of love and attention. So it's a perfect opportunity to strip this down, give it a good clean, and then hopefully I'm going to hydro dip the front panel of this to, I wouldn't say it's an amazing design, but it's, because I'm practicing, I literally just bought one that I thought looked kind of nice. I can always change it another day, but I want to get into this as soon as possible. I'm going to break this controller down. I'm not going to show you how I do that, or I'm going to show you, but I'm not going to talk you through it because I don't want you to go ahead, copy what I'm doing, and then somehow break your controller, because I don't actually know what I'm doing with this. I've watched a few videos online, I've got a rough idea of how it all comes apart, and if you do want to take your own PlayStation controller apart, then just follow some of the tutorials online. There's so many out there and they're really good. The one that I found was brilliant, broke it down step by step, all the tools I need, and the bits and pieces you need to be careful, because there are some fragile elements inside the controller you need to be aware of. So once I've broken this down, I'm going to show you all the stuff that I've got for it. I'm going to show you how I prep it, then we're going to get into the actual hydro dipping itself. It's the first time I've ever done this. I'm really excited to get into it and start practicing, because there's so many things that I want to customise. I drive a Toyota GT86 and there's loads of panels on that car that I actually want to take apart, hydro dip, change certain elements of it. Same gear with my paintball gear, my fishing gear. There's certain things I want to customise on that. You get to know on this channel I basically customise everything. For me, it's not about how expensive the item is. For me, it's how it looks, and as long as it looks good, for me, I'm happy. I can adapt to it. It might be the worst. Say I'm going fishing and I've got a reel. It might be the worst reel in the world, but I'll adapt myself to that reel and I'll use it in the best possible way that I can. So for me, it's more about looking good than the function. It's probably the wrong way to go about things, but I'm a bit of a tart. I like things to look nice, and I like them to catch my eye, and I don't want to keep looking at something and get bored of it. So that's why I want to customise everything as much as I can. So I'm going to get into this control, I'm going to break it down, and then we'll move on to the next stage. So now I've taken the controller apart, you can see how fiddly a lot of the bits are now. It only took me about 5 minutes to do. The hardest part was probably trying to get these two cases together, because it's got like the way it clips together, it sort of over hooks each other. So you've got to be very careful when prying that apart. So all I was using was a very small screwdriver basically. And the whole reason I'm doing that is so I can get in between these sections without actually marking the plastic. But yeah, I made a little bit of a scuff just on that edge there. You can see where it's glinting in the light. But apart from that, the rest of it come apart quite easily. The bits I was saying about being careful about are these little filament connectors here. There's one there and there's just one there. They're the things you don't want to rip out when you're taking the controller apart. But like I say, if you watch a video online, there's so many tutorials that show you how to do this, and it's better just not follow what I do. So get on YouTube, have a look how they do it, and then it'll make it a lot easier. So now I've stripped down the controller. You can see all I'm left with is this empty plastic shell. There's nothing left, there's no electronics, no moving parts or anything like that. So the next thing I'm going to do with this is I'm going to bring out some sandpaper. Now I'm using 600 grit sandpaper, and the particular sandpaper I'm using, I don't know if it does say on there, so I'm using wet and dry sandpaper. Now, as the name suggests, you can use it wet and you can use it dry. I'm going to be using it wet just because, in my experience of other projects, when you sand something and you try and rough it up, if you use a wet sandpaper, you get a nicer finish than just using the dry sandpaper. So I'm going to be using the wet and dry sandpaper, and we're going to give this a once over using 600 grit. I would like to use something a little bit higher, but 600 grit is all I've got at the minute, so that'll have to make do. But I'm just going to make sure I sand all these edges to make sure there's no polished edges. So once you've sanded down the object that you wanted to paint, what I did is I took this away and I run it underneath the tap, and I just cleaned all the excess dust and stuff that had built up, all the grit and stuff like that. I've got all that off it, and I've dried it. And as you can see, looking at the controller, it's not as shiny and glossy as it was before. Now what I've done is, you've literally, using the sandpaper, you're just taking off that glossy top coat, and it just gives the paint something to adhere to. So now that I've done that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some methylated spirits, and I'm just going to run that all over the surface to degrease this part. I'm going to be wearing gloves for this because you don't want to get this stuff on your skin. And once this is degreased, I'm going to make sure it's completely dry. So this is the hydro dip film that I've ordered. It's like a red, black and white urban camo sort of effect. It's not coming up great because there's a lot of glare on the actual surface of it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to now measure out how much I think I'm going to need for the controller. I'm going to cut that to size and I'm just going to line it with some tape. And what that's just going to do, it's just going to stop the film from expanding too much. When I spray it with the activator, it's just going to help keep it all in one place when I go to actually dip the controller. It's going to give the pattern a nice tight grouping rather than spreading out too far and making the pattern a bit naff and blurry. Okay, so I've got my mask on. I'm in a very well ventilated area just because you don't want to be doing this in a room that doesn't have a lot of ventilation. I've got the doors open as well. So what I'm about to do is I've left this for about a minute to a minute and a half just to let that material crease up and then it's suddenly spread out again, which is great. So I'm now going to spray the activator on the surface and then I'm going to put the remote controller angle in at 45 degree, just like this, just to try and get full coverage. So fingers crossed it works. Here we go. Just going to move all the water around to try and get all the excess off. And it didn't work. Okay, so the hydro dipping didn't go exactly how I want it to. I'm not too sure what's actually happened with this. Now that there could be a couple of things wrong. I've spent this time sort of going through YouTube, looking at loads of other videos, seeing where I've actually gone wrong, and I don't think I've done anything wrong. I've done everything that I've followed online. Now it has hydro dipped, but not to the extent where I would call it a success. I don't know what's gone wrong. If you do know, please let me know in the comments because I'd love to know what's gone wrong. But I'm actually quite happy with the way it turned out. Obviously I showed you at the beginning the original hydro dip film that I had was like a red, black and grey / white camo effect. Now that I've dipped it, for some reason it's come out as like a galaxy effect. It's really, really weird. There's, rather than being, there's no red, it's more a pinky purpley kind of colour. The white has come out in areas and the black's come out. Now basically as soon as I hydro dipped it, you saw it, I swashed it around, pulled it out and I was like, what the, yeah, well, I don't know what's happened. Now I stopped filming at that point because I thought, okay, it's going to be a complete fail. I don't know what's gone wrong. I'm just going to end the video here and I'm just going to come back and maybe redo the video another time. But I took it over to the sink, gave it a wash, rinse it off, and once I started rinsing it off, I could see there was some pattern, there was some colour. So I thought, right, okay, it might not be a complete bust. Let it dry, and then I took it outside and I put some lacquer on it just to try and see how it would happen. Because like I said, this is a practice. For me, it's the first time I've ever done it. I am practicing, I am learning. And I don't think it's turned out too bad. I don't think it's turned out properly. But again, I'm not going to argue. I think the effect that's come out of this it looks really cool actually. It's better than just the plain black anyway. So I have sprayed it with lacquer. I'm going to leave that for 24 hours to dry. And yeah, I'm going to quickly show you it now. But I'll pick the camera up tomorrow as well and I will show you it tomorrow. So this is what happened. Bear with me. I probably did mess it up, but let's have a look. So this is what has come out of my efforts at hydro dipping. Now, it's not really being picked up on the camera, but the effect I've got on it is like a cosmos effect almost. It's got like a little galaxy swirl on this side, and on the other side it's got like a few little stars, and yeah, it's a really, really weird aspect, if you like. I don't know what's caused it. I don't know if there's something I've done wrong in my process. Obviously I've shown you everything that I've done so you can see what processes I've followed. Now either I've done something wrong prepping it and getting it ready, or the thing that I think it possibly is the hydro film that I've used is no good. That's what I'm leaning to. That's what I'd like to believe, because I do believe that I've done quite a good job hydro dipping, prepping everything, getting it all ready. Yeah, I want to put it down to the film being really bad. So I am going to order some film. I'm going to go through a complete different company, and hopefully they'll come back and give me something that's actually going to work. If I have done something wrong, then please, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people screaming at me and letting me know in the comments. But yeah, please let me know what you think about this, and I'll come back to you tomorrow when I can actually touch and handle this, and we'll try and get a better look. Right, we're back and it's the next day. This has had time to cure. Now you can see it has got some pattern to it. So some of the hydro dip film has stuck. There's certain areas of it where I'm not sure if it's the actual black from the film or if it's just the black from where the controller was black originally. But you can see certain parts of the white that was on the film has come out fairly well. That seems to have stuck just fine. The problem seems to be with the red. There's hardly any red on this controller at all. There's a little bit on the side where the little directional keypad part is. On the side there's a tiny bit of metallic red, but apart from that, the red's gone like a purpley lilac-y colour. I'm not entirely sure why. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get all these pieces back together in the right way, and hopefully the controller will work. Keep your fingers crossed for me. So I managed to get the controller back together. I haven't got any spare pieces left over, which is good. And you can see it's very, as before it was black all over. You can see on here it does make a slight difference. You can kind of see the pattern again. It is very, on that side you can see it quite well. On this side, again, there's a little bit of pattern there, but apart from that, there's not a great deal that shows up. It's very subtle, but again, I don't mind it. It's better than just being, oh god, the cat's coming to attack. It's better than just being plain black. So yeah, it all went back together. Everything feels the same. It all feels snappy and responsive. So the next thing to do now is to see if it turns on. And there you go, there's that blue light. So yes, the controller does turn on, so I have put it together properly. I'm going to quickly run upstairs now, check all the buttons to make sure the buttons work. Just to make sure I have everything back in the right place. So here you can see I've got Modern Warfare loaded up on PlayStation, and I'm just going to quickly have a quick run through all the button stuff just to make sure it's working. So the ups and downs are working, left and right works fine, back works just fine, X works just fine, triangle works, square works, yeah, everything works. That's working, that's working, that's working, excellent. So I'm going to quickly jump into some gameplay just to see how the controller reacts, and yeah, we'll go from there. So we're in a game now. I'm just going to do a quick couple of seconds play just to make sure it's working. So the sprint button's working fine, melee works fine, aim seems fine. I'm trying to basically make sure the controller's reacting to how I want it to react. So just going to quickly have a few minutes on here just to see if it works. And I'm playing hardcore as well, so that's what I just like to say quickly. But yeah, everything seems fine. Jump works fine. Slide, prone, changing seems snappy. So yeah, basically controller feels exactly the same as it was originally. Just with a bit of a better, well, I say better, I think it looks better than just the plain black personally, but yeah, I'm happy with it overall. So I'm going to get back into finishing this video off. Okay, so I wouldn't call this a complete fail. I wouldn't call it a success either. It's sort of, I want to say 70% fail, 30% success. It has turned out okay. It's not terribly bad. Overall though, I mean, I can always rub this down and I can redo it. So I'm going to keep practicing. I'm going to keep having lots of different attempts on different subjects, different things. And then once I get a decent understanding of how it actually works, then that's when I'll come back and I've got another second PS4 controller. I might have a go at that one, see if I can change that as well. That one's red. Whether that's going to come out different or not, I don't know. But for now, I'm happy with this. I'm going to keep this as it is. I'm going to keep practicing and hopefully I'm going to try and get hold of some different films. I think the film was probably the main problem for doing this. I might try and get some different primer as well, because I did originally want to prime this, but for some reason I didn't. But yeah, I'm happy the way that this has turned out. So that's going to be the end of the video. Don't copy what I've done. If you are going to do this for yourself, then I'd suggest going on YouTube and following someone that has a step-by-step guide. This isn't a how-to or anything like that. This is just my experience doing this for the first time. So there are going to be more videos on this, and hopefully one of those videos will actually be successful and I'll be able to show you exactly what I like and how it's all turned out. So thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. I want to know, you just wanted to be in the video, didn't you? In your little sparkly collar. Not today. Go on, get out of it. Go on, go.